Make your own industry. Recreate movies. Don't pay attention to the industry. Do your own thing. I mean, put it this way. You want the work to be seen, but it doesn't have to be at the Odeon. You know, no more. That's all different. That's another ancient world. That type of film, or not even that type of film. The communal experience is always important. You can make a film on a camera the size of that doorknob and still show it to 1,600 people in an audience. It's still a great communal experience. It's all new. You just break it open. Break open the form. You younger ones, you make a new art. Take what's available. Push it. You know, because it's going to go there. You could do anything.
Martin Scorsese is one of the greatest directors of all time, period. Listen to this list of films, and these are just some of the films that he has given us. Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, Taxi Driver, Raging Bull, The King of Comedy, The Color of Money, After Hours, The Last Temptation of Christ, Goodfellas, Cape Fear, The Age of Innocence, Casino, Gangs of New York, The Aviator, The Departed, Hugo, The Wolf of Wall Street, Silence, The Irishman, and Killers of the Flower Moon. I'd say that's a pretty nice list. Episode 143, in the actor's room, a director, Martin Scorsese. I've heard some people say Scorsese. I think it's Scorsese. Martin, born November 17th, 1942. He's a New York guy. Grew up in Queens. I lived in Queens for a couple of years. I like Queens too. I also lived in Brooklyn Heights, and I liked Brooklyn Heights too. Right on the promenade. Wonderful view. A lot of films and pictures will have the promenade, and it's quite beautiful. A great view, a landscape of New York City, the Statue of Liberty, and you really do get a nice view of the Brooklyn Bridge. Love New York. So does Marty. He has stated that he loves the dreariness of New York. He's a darker kind of guy. This is the world he grew up in. You know, rainy New York City. Not a lot of grass. Not a lot of trees. He lived in an apartment building with his parents. And we're diving into the background of these wonderful people because I think it's important how their lives were shaped before they were successful. I think it's significant. Something to touch on. And that's what I do on my show, The Actor's Room. We touch on every part of their life because I think that it explains who they are as an artist, how they grew up, who their parents were. Were they good people? What was his surroundings? And we established New York City, Queens. And I point out significant moments in their childhood. One of them for Marty, a big one, was he had his tonsils taken out when he was a kid. Like a lot of kids were back then. I think if you got a sore throat, they took out your tonsils. So they did for Marty too. They came out and something bad happened. He got some sort of infection. And because of this infection, he had a bad case of allergies, including asthma, really bad. My daughter Madeline has asthma. I do too. It's awful. And if it's bad enough, it'll ruin your childhood, simply stated. And in a way, it did for Marty in terms of going out and playing with the boys. Sports, for instance. Running around and having a good time. he was sort of shut out of all of that. His parents were very scared of him having an asthma attack and told him not to go out with the boys and play. Can you imagine that? Poor little Marty couldn't go out and play. So he was inside a lot. Time to think and concentrate on movies. His nickname was Marty Pills. Marty Pills. He says he was a walking drugstore, just filled with pills for his allergies. Poor guy. I mean, it had to have been embarrassing to be called Marty Pills, but I guess it could be worse. And if you don't know this, Martin Scorsese's Italian. I know it's a big shock to most of you going, whoa, I didn't know he was Italian. So if you didn't know, he's Italian. And because of this, he was inspired by watching Italian films. One of them, The Bicycle Thief. And I gotta say, I watched this and loved it. Bicycle Thief is a great film. This influenced Marty a lot. And taking what he had to offer him with his family in terms of the traditions, of Italian traditions, and not only the food, which is fantastic, but their way of life, the way they did things, and having this influential artistic movie like The Bicycle Thief, he decided to open up his mind of his art and watch all sorts of movies, French movies, Italian movies, Polish movies, German movies, American movies too. For instance, a film called The Magic Box in 1950 was very influential to Marty, and he reels off a lot of films back in the day that were big for him, wanting him to see what's out there. As far as art goes, making film, what does it take to go from the beginning and the end to make a movie? This interested him at a very early age. He couldn't go out and play, so he played in his mind. One of the aspects of filmmaking that fascinated him the most, I found, was storyboarding, which means that instead of writing passages, pages, paragraphs of a story on paper, whatever, he would have scenes in his mind and draw them. For instance, when you read books as a kid, kids' books, you had some text, and on the same page or the next page, you have a picture. Well, that's what storyboarding is, where you have a picture and you write about it. What's happening in this picture? But you have a bunch of pictures. And each picture is like a scene, I bet. And he enjoyed it, putting it together, drawing this. So he liked to draw and create stories. And each page would be a scene. And he did this from a very early age, before he studied later on down the line. He was also fascinated with flipping pages where you have a picture or a drawing. I used to do stick figures, and the stick figure, you would lower their arm a little bit on each page, and then you flip them real quick, and it looks like they're moving. He loved that. And once he saw that for the first time, this very simple thing, it blew him away. He wanted to know more about film, what it took to make it. And I think that all the little things, all the little aspects of art in this way was what really made him interested to go forward. There was something to learn, and he loved it. Another huge part of his life was the Catholic Church. He grew up Catholic, and that means you go to church a lot, you become an altar boy. He did all that stuff, did a lot of praying, a lot of singing, a lot of humming. That's just what you do. And this influenced him greatly in his art. And priests were a big part of his life back then. And me too. I grew up as a Catholic, and my whole family was, and I spent a lot of time in church. And there's a certain mystery and romance to the Catholic Church. I'm sorry, but it's true. And it really does, and it did for me too. I recently walked into a Catholic church, and I haven't really gone to church like I used to when I was a kid. And it was like an old school church. I walked in and I felt something, and it brought back memories. When I was a kid, there's a certain solemn yet cryptic and sort of interesting, cool thing about the Catholic Church. Like I said, it's romance, and it's different, and it brings back all of these feelings, and it did for Marty as well, and he made it known how important the Catholic, not only the religion, but just the church and everything that the church represented. He was very serious about becoming a priest. That's true. He did go to seminary for about a year, I think. And after the year, his grades were bad. He just wasn't panning out. I think at one point the priest had a meeting with the parents, I think the dad, and Marty's not going to be a priest. And the dad said, that's fine. This was his decision. It wasn't the family's decision. He wasn't pushed to be a priest. He actually wanted to be a priest. Okay. He went to Cardinal Hayes High School. Looked him up online. And guess what? He was there. Senior yearbook, picture of Marty, a young 17-year-old Martin Scorsese in the yearbook. And next to his picture, a little caption, and it said he wanted to be a businessman. And he loved to swim. That was his favorite sport. And I'm thinking, I thought he had asthma. Maybe he liked to watch people swim. Was he allowed to swim? Maybe his lungs got a little stronger in age, and his parents are like, okay, you can swim. And let's get to his parents before I go any further. There's a documentary that Scorsese did, I think it was the early 70s, called Italian American. Basically, he interviews his parents. And I gotta say, they are so adorable. And you get to see, especially his mom, in a lot of his films before she passed. And they're so sweet. And it looked like he had a wonderful childhood. When you have parents that are as sweet as they are, or were, you get a chance, watch this doc. It's available. Italian American. You want to see his parents and see the kind of people that raised Marty Scorsese? Give a look at it. I think you'd enjoy it. One of the biggest influences on his young directing aspirations was Bergman. And I want to make sure it's The Seventh Seal is the movie. Yeah, The Seventh Seal. And, Bergman films are so artistic. But you want to see an artistic film, watch any Bergman film. It's filled with just mysterious, sort of religious stuff. I don't want to get too much into Bergman. That's a whole other animal. But the directing style of Bergman was big for Marty. And because the seminary thing didn't work out, he didn't become a priest. He now had to do something else. So he decided on NYU. He was going to study filmmaking. He makes it pretty clear at this point in his life that going to NYU was a severe culture shock. The world was very small for a young Scorsese living in Queens. I think his parents sheltered him. And when he went to NYU and saw this bigger world, culture shock. And he made that clear that it was big in his artistic views, being a little fish in a big pond now instead of a little fish in a little pond, and got his bachelor degree in English. Next came the Tisch School of Arts, and here he did the customary short films and student films. You can learn a lot from doing this. They're small projects, but you get your feet wet in all aspects of filmmaking. He concentrated mostly on making documentaries, one of them called The Big Shave. He was also an assistant cameraman and then a gaffer on several projects, which means that he just would do anything and everything just to be a part of filmmaking. He was even an editor at CBS News, and they offered him a full-time position. So here you go. He's doing well. The guy's working, gets a job at CBS News, and sort of a temp job, right? They offer him a full-time position, a real job. So he has a choice. Do I become an editor for CBS News? Or do I decline? Say, no, I don't want a full-time job with a steady paycheck. No, I want to be an artist. It's a hell of a choice, right? Do you become a grown-up with a real job? Okay, am I gonna make my parents proud? Call them up. I just got a real job at CBS News. I'm sure my dad is gonna be proud of me. But he doesn't do that here. He takes the other road, the less walked road of becoming a filmmaker. So let's go ahead and we're going to dive right into that. We spent way too much time talking about the early stuff, right? You're thinking, when is he going to be done? I really don't care what his parents were like. Just don't give a shit. I'm not watching the documentary. I don't care what freaking high school he went to. Oh, he was an altar boy. Big deal. So we're going to get into his early career. One of the very first movies he ever did was called Who's That Knocking at My Door? And he meets Harvey Keitel. Mr. Keitel will go on to be in a lot of Scorsese films. Connections. He worked well with Marty. Marty liked him. So guess what? He's probably going to have him in half the pictures he does. Man, that's great. Harvey can be reassured that every now and then he's going to have some work because Marty becomes very successful. Of course. There was someone in the business that really liked this movie. Who's That Knocking at My Door? And the guy was John Cassavetes, one of my all-time favorite artists ever, was impressed with this film. Sort of took Marty under his wing. Now, that's significant to me because I placed Mr. Cassavetes maybe too high. And I think there's a pretty large percentage of my audience, although my audience is small, but I'm sure most of them have no idea who Cassavetes is. And even if they do, are sort of like, well, he's okay. I'm not going to put in a Cassavetes movie. I do. And he loved Marty. And Marty learned a lot from John. And Marty was also rubbing a lot of elbows, not just John's, but other promising directors too. For instance, in the very beginning, before they were all mega gods as far as directors go, he was pretty good friends with Brian De Palma, Francis Ford Coppola, George Lucas, and Steven Spielberg. Imagine all five of them sitting around a dinner table talking about art. How wonderful would that be? In their conversations. Now, mind you, there are some being successful already when Marty meets them, right? Like De Palma. But they're giving him valuable advice and other connections. For instance, De Palma introduced Scorsese to Robert De Niro. That's a pretty big connection. I think that's going to work out in the future. But for now, let's also talk about the fact that he did become assistant director in a documentary called Woodstock. I'm sure that was a lot of fun for Marty. Can you imagine doing a doc on Woodstock? Man, I'll tell you, just, and I'm not even a quarter of a way done talking about Marty, but already he has a pretty cool life. It's gotta be. Difficult, yes. Trying. You're not knowing when your next paycheck will be. Because that's just the way the business works, especially in the beginning. You don't have a steady paycheck. But all the cool things you're doing, these documentaries, meeting all these cool people. Man, I don't know. I'm so fascinated by all this stuff. I really am. In learning about Scorsese and everybody else that I've done on my show, I think it's great. Marty says that he was so straight-laced or just real limited with his wardrobe at this time that he said after he did the documentary Woodstock, he bought his first pair of jeans. Folks, I'm not making this up. That's what he said. His first pair of jeans were after that. I guess back then, too, they just dressed differently. Look at any picture of, say, a get-together and just people hanging out at the house on a Sunday, and the guys are wearing dress shirts with ties and sports coats. It's the way they dressed back then, man. They had slacks. They didn't have jeans. But Marty is sort of letting his hair down, just like all the hippies he was recording, and buying a pair of jeans. Good for you. It was also around this time he was becoming closer to John Cassavetes. And Cassavetes hired him to work on Minnie and Moskowitz. Good film. Not one of my favorite Cassavetes films, but Marty working with John. I'm sure it was great. Learning a lot from John, especially improv. So Marty's feeling good, confident. So what do when you're feeling good and confident? You move to California, right? Try that. And in doing so, he gets involved with Roger Corman and his projects. He was getting real close with Roger, learning from him all the secrets of filmmaking. And Roger wanted him to direct a film called Boxcar Bertha. And Marty did. This will be his first real directing experience with a consistent schedule. Where in the past, the short films, all the other things that he did, he said that you did it when you had time. When everybody had time. There weren't set schedules. If you could do it on a Saturday morning, you did it on a Saturday morning. And the next time you could do it was Tuesday afternoon. Where now, he's got strict schedules. In working with Corman, he found out what it took to make movies cheaply, under budget. And he was big on actually staying to schedule and getting a film done on time. And most directors struggle with this just because they're picky and they want to do things over and over and things get delayed. It's very common. But young in his career, Scorsese was schooled, his schooling with Roger Corman, to do it and do it right. So Marty was all excited. Got his first real directing job done, right? Boxcar Bertha. And he had a screening for his mentor, John Cassavetes. John watched it, of course. Movie's over. John gets up, walks over to Marty, gives him a hug. Marty says, wow, he must have loved it. They did good. John stepped back, hand on his shoulder, and said, Marty, you wasted a year of your life. That was a pile of shit. But Lovingly, I'm telling you, you could do this. There's no doubt about it. But make films that you want to do. And this was tough love for a reason. John saw that Marty had what it took to be a successful, influential director. If he didn't like Marty or felt he didn't have a future, he wouldn't have hugged him at all and just said, wow, that was a really nice picture, Marty. Let's get a soda. So before he does a movie he really wants to do, and we'll get at that in a second, I want to note that during this time, he's got to make money, right? And he does it as a documentary editor, and he also directed a few television shows in California. You got to do what you got to do. Learning, making money, and preparing yourself for doing what John Cassavetes sort of recommended to Marty. And that was do a film that you want to do, something that you know. Write it yourself if you have to, because that's what John would do. Make it personal. And that's what he does. His first big film, very personal one, doing something he knows. It's called Mean Streets. This is 1973, and this one was studied by me back in the day. My teachers told me to study this film, so I did. And I remember a lot of it. Gritty. It's a good look at how talented already Marty is in the very beginning. Because it's raw. It's good. The acting is, you could tell, because you got De Niro and Keitel, okay? And you can tell the acting's fine. Not going to, this is very early on in their careers. But you could tell Marty already is a better director than De Niro and Keitel are actors. But it's passable. And you get a wonderful film in the beginning of something great. The budget was $650,000. So at that time, that's a pretty decent budget. And I guess Corman wanted to throw money at this project, but he had something to say to Marty about how he wanted Marty to do the picture. He wanted Marty to make it an all-black cast. Marty thought about it. He said, you got to think about this stuff. Because, of course, this was a personal project. And Marty had Italians all over the place in this picture. That's his people. So Corman suggesting an all-black cast, it was never going to happen. And you could see Marty's face when he talks about this. Roger's offering me this money, but I got to do an all-black cast. It's not going to happen. He goes, I had to think about it because there's money throwing at me, but it's just, no. It's just not going to. And he says that it would have been interesting to do that. But it's just, no. He said it probably would have worked, but it would have been a completely different movie. Not in a bad way, but just it wasn't something that Marty wanted to do. And I don't know if he felt comfortable doing it, but like John suggested, he did it his way. Marty says that he brought most of the crew that he worked with in Boxcar Bertha to join him to do this. So there's familiar people all around you. This is big. I think this is really big, that his big first movie. I know I'm using the word big too much. Sorry. His huge first movie. You have people around you trust. And that's some, Hollywood people where the studios throw all these people at you. You don't know these people. They have their way of doing things that you just don't know. You can't trust them. So Marty had all these people around him that he could trust, and he was comfortable. And the end product worked. He found that working on Mean Streets as a director, that you have no time for politeness or being politically correct. You do it your way. And if people don't like it, tough shit. And of course, this is noteworthy. The first time he works with De Niro. Now, he's worked with Keitel before, so I think this is their second project together. And I note that it took 27 days to shoot. And it was a very personal film, derived a lot from Marty's neighborhood, where he grew up. And before we move any further, I just want to say we're doing a few of his films. That's my show. Not sure if I'm going to make it a two-parter. For now, I'd like to make it one-parter. This whole two-part thing, I don't think people like that. I find that the people aren't clicking on my parts. So I can't do a 3-hour show. Number one, my voice will die. It's just, I can't hold up. I got my water, and people don't want a long show. So I'm just going to highlight some of his work. He's got a lot of work that's just incredible. But I'm going to highlight the ones for me that I love the most anyway. The next one, Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. Just the very next year, 1974. Ellen Burstyn is amazing. What an actress. She recommended Marty to the studio. This was Burstyn's baby. After her success in the movie where they're possessed. Oh my God. It's not Poltergeist. I'm thinking Poltergeist. It's not Poltergeist. The other one where the kid's puking up pea soup. The Exorcist. Thank you. After her success with The Exorcist, they gave her this script, this story. We're going to make a movie out of this. And she loved the story. And this was really she knew, a passion project for sure. And she wanted a nice, fresh director. So she did this. She calls up Coppola. Who do you recommend, Francis? I need a fresh director. Francis says, watch Mean Streets. Tell me what you think. She watched it, loved it. Who's the director on that one? His name's Marty Scorsese. I think you two will be just fine working together, and you want a fresh guy. It works out well. So Ellen Burstyn meets up with Marty. They talk about the script. She says, do you know a lot about women? And Marty simply says, no, I do not, but I'm willing to learn. This was a big step for Marty, directing-wise. This was a big film. And he had a big star already. De Niro and Cartel. The Cartel. De Niro and Keitel weren't big stars on Mean Streets. They were just people and young budding stars that Scorsese knew. Now he was working with Ellen Burstyn, big star at the time, and she wanted Marty. Things went so well, Burstyn, she won an Academy Award for her performance. Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. It's a wonderful film. I've seen it a few times. Marty will go ahead and accept the award for Ellen. She was working on a Broadway play at the time. So he got up there, accepted the award for her, thanked himself. She told him, if I win, you have to thank yourself. Because Marty did a great job. Marty used Keitel again. He really likes Keitel, not Cartel. Keitel. And I have to note that Keitel does a hell of a job. I'm hot and cold with Harvey as far as an actor goes. I think he does some really wonderful work, and I think he does some really subpar work. But in this one, he does phenomenal. And at one point, he's being very threatening to Ellen in the film. Not in real life, not offset, but in the movie. And whoo, boy, I believe him. And so did Ellen. She was so taken aback by Keitel's performance. She cried for an hour. That's from Ellen. She said, I couldn't stop crying. I was so scared. And even Marty says that before the scene, Keitel warming up, getting himself all riled up, he was being demonic. Scorsese said he got himself so freaking evil. And it showed in the scene. Ellen Burstyn said that Marty was very open to improv. So important. When the actor trusts the director. Say Ellen is struggling on a scene and she wants to work on it. Best way to do it is improv. You go off script. You just have a conversation off the cuff. Wonderful things happen. And you get to find out more about the character, sometimes about yourself too. And the director learns something about the character, and then something about himself too, and the way he wants to do the shot, or how that character progresses in his film. This is his film. He's hoping and praying that the actors do a fine job, are happy with their work. Marty there's no doubt about it. He's an actor's director, and those are the very best. Just like his mentor, John Cassavetes, one of my guys, because he loved actors too. John was an actor. He was an actor, John. Marty wasn't, but in a way he is, because Marty will put himself in some of his films. The next big one, of course, 1976, the year I was born. Taxi Driver. And just going to take a moment here because this is a big one for me. I don't know why. I love Taxi Driver. It's simple, but you could tell there was some great care taken with this film. And whoever directed it, and of course it's Marty, but whoever directed it, you could tell. It was so important to them that it was, I don't know, you just get a feeling about that when you're watching it. Like, this is something special going on here. And the dedication that he had with De Niro, man, that is strong. And I think that Marty recognizing this connection he had with this actor, Bobby, well, that was something he wasn't going to let go. No doubt. And I was going to do a Taxi Driver episode. So I'm not going to talk about it a lot because I want to do its own show. It deserves an hour, Taxi Driver. Oh, it deserves probably 2 hours, of course. It's so, for me as an actor when I was learning it, and I just respected the hell out of this one. And not only De Niro, who just made a name for himself making this. I mean, he just blew up after this. But watching Marty's directing. And that's what this show, man, we're doing. We're highlighting Marty. Look at that. He captured New York City in the 70s. Was that hard to do? I don't know, but he did it. I think it was hard to do. It's so dirty. And Travis is just, he just wants it to just go away. He wants to clean up everything, right? And before we move on, because like I said, Taxi Driver deserves a great deal of attention. Just want to say a few things about it before we go on to the next one. De Niro's dedication, I got that. Marty used a lot of Hitchcock's sort of ideas about directing and actually used one of Hitchcock's composers for the film. Marty has a cameo. He acts and he does really fucking good job. In the back seat of the cab, that's Marty Scorsese in the back seat when he's talking about killing his wife because she's upstairs cheating on him. There was supposed to be another actor to do that. They bowed out. So Marty took it upon himself to do a little acting. And boy, did he do a phenomenal job. Of course, the mirror shot, De Niro, you talking to me? It was all improv. Marty does a lot of overhead shots in this movie. Bickle on the phone, trying to get another date with Betsy. Remember that? Travis is a weirdo. But he really likes Betsy. And he's trying to be sweet, if he can, to get another date out of her. He fucked up. And in that scene where he's trying to get another date, the camera pans away down the long, empty hallway, as if to suggest that the phone conversation is too painful to watch. I love that. I love that. That's a real director. That's a director really thinking about not only the scene, but what the character's feeling. And if we were watching this, we wouldn't even, like, I do that. If there's a conversation going on in the next room, I'm in the next room. I'm in the next city. I have nothing to do with it. I hate confrontations to begin with anyway. But you want to be as far away from that uncomfortable situation. And that's just great directing by Marty. Sybil Shepherd, who played Betsy, and Marty get clashed on set. And I'll tell you why. Sybil Shepherd is, I don't even know, is she an average actress? I mean, Moonlighting was successful. I mean, she did a few things. The Last Picture Show was okay with her in it. It was okay. But as an actress, Marty didn't get along with her mostly because she would forget her lines. I mean, what the There you go. By God, I said I wasn't going to spend too much time on Taxi Driver. Fuck it. Too many great notes here. For instance, Oliver Stone. He believes that Bickle was based on him. And he says this because he was a student of Marty Scorsese back in the day. I guess Marty would teach a little at NYU just to, fill time, get another little paycheck. And one of his students was Oliver Stone. And Oliver Stone was in Vietnam. Check. And I guess Oliver Stone drove a taxi in New York City. Check. And wore the same outfit that Travis Bickle wears in the film. That's what Oliver said. So he's got a point here. And I'm sure that Marty used all that stuff for his project. And I'm sure he did that with all of his films, taking little bits and pieces of people he knew. And it's very possible that he based Bickle on a lot of Oliver Stone. Go figure. Taxi Driver received 4 Oscar nominations, including Best Picture. Well deserved. So his next venture was to do a big budget film. He was ready. It was called New York, New York. And a lot of you out there have no idea what I just said. It failed miserably, and Marty was crushed. So crushed, he went into deep depression and got himself in a lot of trouble with cocaine, to be honest with you. And it got out of hand. He not only did a lot of coke at this time, but he partied hard. Mind you, he's still working during his depression here. Not much, but still working, doing some projects here and there, and smoking a lot of... No, not smoking. God, I hope he wasn't smoking coke. Sniffing a lot of the powder. So let's touch on that. The business. And how wonderful it could be, and how crushing it could be. And he saw success in his early stages. And when it really hits you that you're not going to make wonderful work all the time, or you're thinking it's wonderful, but the press hates it, the critics hate it, and audience, the most important one, the audience hates it. It's crushing. Marty felt it. This was important to him. And because of this downward spiral, he ended up in the hospital. Bad shape. He was bleeding on the inside, I guess. But there was one person, thankfully, that came to Marty's rescue. Can you guess who it is? That's right. Mr. De Niro. He just swept into the hospital on a horse. Wasn't a horse, but he came in and he pled with Marty. You need to do a project, Marty. That's where your fire is. That's what you love. You're down right now. Fuck it. We've all been there. Well, not Bobby. I don't think he did coke. But I'm sure that Bobby was also very down with his role sometimes and what he was doing. And he would get depressed too. He said, we got to get out of this. And the best way to do it is to make a movie with me. And Marty's like, what are we going to do? And Bobby said, I love calling him Bobby. It's like I know him. Like, hey, Bobby. Yeah, Bobby De Niro. But Bobby said, we're going to do a film called Raging Bull, Marty. So what the hell is this about? This Raging Bull. Animals? No. It's about a boxer. Jake LaMotta. Marty said, what the fuck am I going to do? I don't know anything about boxing. I'm not making this movie. No. Robert kept at him. We're going to do it. Believe in me. Believe in us. We work well together. This is something we could do. We could fucking nail this. We can do it. We're going to make history. And by God, they do. Raging Bull is one of the biggest movies of the 80s. And it was made in 1980. It's safe to say Raging Bull is a masterpiece. Marty put all of his energy into making this. He had to stay alive. And it was the inspiration of Robert De Niro that got him there. He wasn't thrilled about doing a sport movie, but he got through that and realized that it just wasn't about boxing, of course. And there isn't that much boxing in the film. This is a relationship movie. A movie about this Jake LaMotta guy, this dickhead. He was. And Marty knew that this Jake LaMotta not only fought in the ring, but he fought in every aspect of his life. And Marty, when he got that, he goes, I got this movie. I got it. And that's all it takes. Once it clicks for Marty, the rest is history. And he usually makes a pretty damn good film. Only one camera was used during the fight sequences, and Marty did this for a reason. The camera, technically, would be the third fighter. The camera was also inside the ring. No cameras outside. And one of the most incredible things about this movie was De Niro gaining 60 pounds. The producers were concerned. Bob, that's unhealthy. Don't do that. You don't have to gain 60 pounds. We could use prosthetics. We could fake it. Makeup and bodysuits. I mean, you don't have to do this. But that's De Niro. So method. And I think deep down, he just wanted to gorge himself. He wanted to go through that. As an artist, that was part of the job. That was part of being an actor. De Niro felt it necessary to go to Europe and eat. And that's what he did. So this is how he gained all that weight. He would have a big dinner, right before he went to bed. So big dinner with a lot of pasta. And to wash it all down, right, a large vanilla milkshake. Sounds good, man. Oh, the carbs. It was also known that he would eat a lot of pancakes during the day. And he would eat as much as he could. Like, I can't do that. My stomach is the size of a freaking pea. I just have a little belly. I can't eat that much. I eat too much. I get sick. I don't feel good. And I love eating. Oh, dude, I get hungry. I love eating. But I reach a certain point where I just know that's it. So I wonder how hard it is to push yourself. De Niro had to push himself. He had to eat like 10 pancakes and go, I'm just going to push down one more. Oh, my stomach. I'm just thinking about him. Ugh, what? Is that hard to do? I mean, people love to eat, though, man. You go to a restaurant and you look at people's plates and go, they're not going to finish that. They do. People love it. Eating is, for a lot of people, eating is their favorite thing to do. Period. Breathing, I'm not saying it's something you have to do, but the whole eating thing. And 60 pounds. 60 pounds, man. He did it for not only himself, but he did it for the film, and he did it for Marty. we have to talk about something really important. The relationship between Robert De Niro and Martin Scorsese and what makes it work. And I found it out. This is what Marty says. He says, it's the understanding one another's sensitive side. Sharing feelings. Oh, we're getting deep, folks. And gooey. And what their inner silence is. Woo! I mean, I guess that's what it takes, guys. Women, ladies and gents. It's all that the sensitive stuff that people don't want to talk about at parties. You know, Marty and Bobby are sitting away in the corner there talking about all that gooey stuff. Making history. Scorsese says that it's strong characters and not really the storyline that reigns supreme when choosing a project. Next one, Color of Money, 1986. Noteworthy because of the performances of Paul Newman, who won an Oscar for this, and Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise, Newman, chemistry. It's the sequel to The Hustler, one of my favorites, and it did fine. I personally love it. My parents were big with The Hustler when I was a kid. I watched it a lot. And when I found that there was a sequel, I went, this is me. This is for me for sure. And it was great. What is it about billiard movies? I could watch people shoot pool. What is that? I find it fascinating. And it did fine. It got Paul Newman his first and only Oscar. Crazy. But I don't want to spend too much time on this one. I just wanted to note it. And if you've never seen it, do so. Won't be disappointed. Oh, the next one. 1988. Oh, he's coming out swinging. Being all controversial. And mind you, this guy grew up Catholic. And he does a movie about Jesus. It's a tricky one. It's called Last Temptation of Christ. And as a kid, I remember this was really, God, whoa, like, this Last Temptation of Christ movie. Have you heard of this? And I remember reading articles about it. Now, mind you, I grew up Catholic, so this was, whoa. I think if you even thought of this movie, you were going straight to hell. This was big. For Marty to do this, this was a passion project. He wanted to do it for a long time. He had this one tucked away. It's a fascinating premise. And if you're not Catholic, maybe it doesn't hit home for you as much, or Christian, I mean. It's basically Jesus being human. That's it. I don't know. Is that a horrible thing to see what it would be like if Jesus thought like you and me and had urges like you and me, thoughts, these really interesting concepts? Why not do a movie like that? Marty thought, think outside the box. Do this movie. William Dafoe plays Jesus. Wonderful. Harvey Keitel is Judas. Even better. I loved Keitel in this. And this was another one I studied in New York. It's just, maybe because it was a controversial film, artsy, right? We all love those in acting school. Oh, is it controversial? Oh, yeah. Well, then I gotta see it. You're watching a bunch of Kubrick films and Scorsese films and things like that. But I mean, do you get more out of it when you watch a film that's edgy? Of course you do. You want to go watch a Disney movie? Go ahead. Have fun. Go knock yourself out. You'll get a lot from it. Really? Not really. Watch a Scorsese movie. You get something out of it. Watch a Kubrick movie. You sink your teeth into life, art. And that's what he did with Last Temptation. He had something to say. He wanted to tell this story. It meant something to him. And of course, this movie was banned all over the place. It got so bad. His parents were concerned. Marty's parents were very concerned. And Marty had to have bodyguards with him at times. I mean, really? I mean, I get it. I get it. There are how many Jesus movies? And personally, I've seen them all. I am currently watching Jesus of Nazareth. That was done in the late 70s, and it's got a bunch of stars in it. I grew up watching that. It's like a mini series. It's 4 hours long. I'm watching that right now. I'm on hour 3. But I mean, it's a movie, folks. It's a movie. It's entertainment. It's art. And you're getting a perspective from a film director, Marty Scorsese, and deal with it. You don't have to like it. But should Marty be concerned about his well-being walking down the street? Because he made this movie. What? People need to freaking chill out. And this was in 1988. All right, there you go. There are, of course, many more unbelievable films that Marty will do. Okay, but we're going to wrap it up and mention, of course, Goodfellas. Come on. Most will say this is his best movie. And you can't deny that. It's pretty amazing. And it's his directing style that make it wonderful. Goodfellas deserves its own episode. Plain and simple. Henry Hill's life captured by Martin Scorsese. The music. The slow motion shots. He's huge on slow motion shots. The performances he gets from those actors. I mean, is there a better film overall about mobsters besides The Godfather? No. Godfather and Goodfellas. You can't get any better. You can't. Those are the two titan mobster films because they're done with care. It's just plain to me. And Goodfellas I've watched 50 times. One of my classmates back in the day, we kept in touch. This is his favorite movie, and he's very critical of Scorsese and how limited he is. I disagree. I don't think Scorsese's limited. My buddy thinks that he doesn't use enough different ethnic groups, actors in his films. I don't know. I think he does a fine job mixing it up. I mean, we'll talk about a couple of other films like Age of Innocence with Daniel Day-Lewis. I touched on this with Michelle Pfeiffer episode. That movie's beautiful. The images, it's a beautiful film. A very Kubrick-like. And then he goes on and does Casino. Look at the performance he gets out of Sharon Stone. Her best work was in that, Casino. Of course, another strong performance by Pesci, De Niro, even Don Rickles. I mean, wow. That's a great film. And then he just blows us away by doing Gangs of New York. Working with Daniel Day again, working with DiCaprio. Another Italian connection. He makes strong bonds with his fellow Italians. And that's great. I mean, hey, it's all about the relationships you make. The working relationships, offset too. It all plays in. You trust each other. And you do wonderful work. Gangs of New York, what a gem that was. And these movies, a lot of them, they're very long. That can't be easy. He's so dedicated to his life's work. And you could tell. How many directors have these wonderful films back to back sometimes? I mean, it's almost impossible as a director. like Spielberg. It's just ridiculous. We'll note The Aviator, more DiCaprio, Howard Hughes. The Departed. The Departed. Look what he gets from Baldwin. My God, Mark Wahlberg gives his best performance in this film. There's no doubt about it. You're not going to get a better performance out of Mark Wahlberg ever. He was so perfect for that character he played. It's almost, you can tell Marty, he loved his actors. And he got the best he could out of all of them. The Departed is amazing. Amazing. And I'm looking, The Departed also nominated for Best Picture. A lot of his films get nominated for Best Picture. A lot. He also brings out one of DiCaprio's best performances in The Wolf of Wall Street. Doesn't he? Yeah, he does. DiCaprio, top of his game in Wolf of Wall Street. And bad on me, I still haven't seen Killers of the Flower Moon. I haven't seen it yet. And I wanted to see it before I did this episode, but I couldn't wait. I wanted to do this episode. I had some time. And if I let that time pass, I may not get it back. So I said to myself, I'm doing it now. I'll watch it later. I might come back at it in another episode talking about Killers of the Flower Moon. It seems boring. It's like I'm not jumping at to see it. I heard it's really good. I'm sure it's really good. I don't know. I just haven't seen it yet. Killers of the Flower Moon. Next on my list. Might watch it tonight. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to this episode of The Actor's Room. My name's Jeff. And I love Marty Scorsese. He's a character. Ever watch him give an interview? He talks really fast. You could tell. Like, he goes fast forward. Everything is, I'm sure working with him is exhausting. But the guy, he gets shit done. Right? Like, he's just straight ahead. I have a goal, and I'm going to fucking do it. And he does it. He's brilliant. He's thinking all the time about directing. I'm sure he thinks about it every hour, how to improve on it. In the clip I played in the very beginning of this show, you could tell just from that clip how evolving is important. And go with the flow. Things are changing at a rapid rate and you gotta keep up. Do it your way. Don't back down. Don't have people telling you how to do stuff. As a director, you gotta take charge. Do it your way. Make it yours. Martin Scorsese, one of the greatest directors ever. That's not even an argument. God bless him. Still alive. Still strong. You go, Marty. This was episode 143. I hope all you out there are having a great day. It's a Saturday for me, Saturday afternoon. After this, I'm going to brush off the show. Going to go downstairs. I'm going to make, get this, spaghetti and meatballs. Marty, you make me want to cook Italian. I make my own sauce, folks. I am married to an Italian. I love making sauce. What is that? I love it. I love the steps it takes, right? I love it. And the first thing you do is you take the garlic, right? And the onion with the olive oil, right? You get it going. The process. And how much wine do you add? Do you put a little bit of sugar in there? And the spices, you don't make it too hot because the kids won't eat it. And I enjoy making the meatballs too, right? I want to make it as tasty as I can because it's one of the very few dishes that I trust myself not to fuck up. I could do spaghetti and meatballs. So tonight, that's what we're doing. And I'm making it, damn it. So, once again, thanks for listening. Go out, watch a movie tonight. Go to the theater. I say this sometimes. Go to the art museum. Appreciate art. Appreciate what it takes to make a film. The blood, sweat, and tears that go into it. As much as Marty loves to make film, there is a lot of blood, sweat, and tears and exhaustion. I'm sure he gets exhausted a lot. It takes a lot out of you. But in the editing process too, right? We didn't touch on that much at all, actually. But he takes great pride in editing his films. They're his babies, like his kids. So appreciate it. When you watch, the next time you watch a Marty Scorsese film, there is so much love put into it. Just know it. There is. Once again, thank you. May God bless you. Have a good one.